So my role is to lead the blockchain business for IBM globally, and what we look to do is make sure that we're the convener of this new capability, not the technology, but the capability in the market that blockchain's bringing. So when you think of technology, that drives you toward, that technology itself. It makes you think, okay, what is this technology? Let's prove this technology. Let's prove that this technology can be worthwhile. Instead, what we do is we say, listen, let's flip this and think about a capability. So let's start with the outcome. Let's think of what we've been trying to do in the industry, in any given industry. And specifically, let's think, what's the challenge for CMO? What does that CMO want out of business, out of their day-to-day challenge? Now we've just changed that question, because I didn't say anything that you can answer with, well, let me tell you about the technology. So when you think about the result, the outcome, and now let's talk about the outcome of what? Specifically, we're talking because we're talking blockchain, right? And so we'll try and keep it simple. Is that outcome for anyone is transparency, trust. So what do I mean by that? Any job, any industry, the challenge has always been around one thing, and that's data. Data as a whole. Oh, give me more data. Got to have more, data. But it's really two parts of that data. First, access. Everyone getting access to that data. Everyone that needs access, I should say, to that data. And then once you get access to the data, that data is correct, that it's accurate. So if you could do those two things, get access to accurate data in a permissioned way for everyone that needed to see it, you could get rid of so many challenges, so many hassles in that exchange of data. Think of it as a supply chain, or better yet, a value chain for the CMO. If you think about the CMO and you ask them that, like if you said, do you want clarity, transparency, and understanding in your supply chain, they might say, sounds kind of nerdy, just as you said. But if you said, listen, do you want to know the value of your marketing spend? Do you really want to know, are all your vendors being rewarded or not so in the way that they should be? Does that marketing message really hit with your end user? Because in the end, that's all we're talking about, is the end user. That's what they want to know. So if you can add that clarity and transparency and put it in that context, that you know that dollar is going to get you what you want, or that euro is going to get you the outcome that you want, back to the outcome, I think that a CMO then is empowered. So you change, you're not just a chief marketing officer, you become the chief make it happen officer. So you get things on the back end. In the end user, you think of any end user, the consumer, what do? We all buy as consumers, we consume as consumers on certain levers, on value, on price, on reputation, brand reputation, on sustainability. All these things happen, and so that's how we're consuming. How do we know that we are actually getting that end state? Do we trust what we consume? Do we trust the advertising, the marketing? Do we trust, in fact, talk about trust, as an end user, I'm going to guess maybe you're an organic food consumer, right? Yeah, sure you are. We all are. We all say we are. And we also know that the little known fact that people talk about, that there's more organic food consumed than is produced, right? So that means that maybe all of it isn't what we think it is. So those levers, if we can start to pull on those levers with the end user, which all are about handshakes through a supply chain, if we can now start to add some more trust and transparency in those handshakes, in that supply chain out to the end user, we can add value, perhaps decrease price and cost, because we've now smoothed and given that transparency in that supply chain. We help that end user. The more participants, the better. Metcalfe's law, to get nerdy on you yet again. So we think about, who needs to participate. The more participants in the network, for every new participant, it adds exponential value to a business network. However, to start, you do need to have those key players. You think of the pivotal players in marketing and advertising. Who are they? If we could get them to play along with this wonderful business network, wow, think of the network then that they tie into, and that ecosystem ties into. And what you get then is a network effect of a network of networks. So I mean, you called them out, and many we're talking to right now, if we can get them to play, it'll be a big change in the market. I think there is influence and awareness, just like we're having the exchange now, but in the end it's the value that gets others to play in that network, so that you'll play if you get a return. If you can, in a way, add more value to that supply chain, or if you benefit from the clarity and transparency or the trust in the supply chain, then you'll participate.